Hi, my name is Amanda McDonald and I'm a graduate assistant in the undergraduate library. I will be teaching your instruction session today on video and I will be helping your class on Tuesday, January 28th. My goal for these two sessions is to help you gain the research skills that you need in order to complete your first unit project in English 105. To do that, I'm going to first show you how to get in touch with me. So from the library's homepage, which is library.unc.edu/house, you have several options for getting help this semester. The first is just to come into the undergraduate library. We have our hours here. The library itself is open for reference help, meaning the reference desk is open from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and we have some shortened hours on Friday and Sunday as well. We do have a chat feature which appears here when the reference desk is open, but you can chat at UNC Libraries. If you go to that main link right there, you can chat on their page too. So basically, if you have questions, come in person, ask us on chat, and you can also email me. My email is abmacdon@live.unc.edu. So my goal for today's session is to give you 3 different types of skills to help you learn how to narrow your topics, to develop keywords, and to locate the sources you need for your final unit project. When you guys come into this session on January 28th, you guys are already going to have chosen your topics. So what I want to do is really start with what your topic is now and how to identify key terms from there so we can start narrowing from that point. The first source I want to show you is the New York Times, so we can open another tab and search for New York Times. And it's going to be this link right here, the New York Times Breaking News, so we'll go ahead and select that. And then there were a couple of different options that we could do. If you guys didn't have a topic, I would show you to go to the Science tab and to look through and see for recent headings, but since you guys already know what you're doing, I will go ahead and pick a topic as well. So I'm just going to go to search, and I'm going to search for chemical spills. Whoops, I spelled chemical wrong. Okay. So the reason why, I should tell you this first, the reason why I picked the New York Times is that as you guys start developing your topics, you want to make sure that you pick something that is current, that's relevant. You don't want to do, a topic about chemical spills and then talk about something that happened 50 years ago and there's no new research or no new updates on it. So what you want to do is find something that's in the news now, something that people are currently talking about. That way when you start to write this paper and understand what it means to join that conversation with other people writing in the natural sciences, you'll actually join a current conversation. Also, New York Times is fairly reliable. You'll see that there are citations sometimes near the end or linked to other sources. So whatever we find here, you can use on your final project as one of your sources. So what we'll do is you can look through the titles and kind of see, you can see the little blurbs that they have. These are about, this is from January 10th, Elk River, West Virginia. So the reason I picked the chemical spill obviously is this recent chemical spill in West Virginia that we've heard on the news. But I see this one and it says has had a long fierce opposition to environmental regulations. So here it's talking about regulations in the environment in relation to the chemical spill. So I want to click on this one just to learn more about it. So from here, since I already know that I'm writing about chemical spills, what I would suggest is while you read through this article, I would jot down key terms. What I mean by key terms are words or phrases that you think you want to know more about, you don't know what they mean, or that seem really important in relation to your topic. This way, when we go to other databases, we have other words to use just to see what kind of information we find. It's particularly important if you're looking for scientific terms, because sometimes there'll be a popular and a scientific term, and we'll need to know both of those in certain databases. Okay, so the first thing that we know, of course, is that it's in West Virginia. So we want to jot down the location as West Virginia. I see here Environmental Protection Agency, and I know from the title that this is about regulations, so I might want to write down Environmental Protection Agency because this link might take me to additional information. Here's some more information. It says that 75,000 gallons of a chemical used to clean coal leaked from aging, outmoded storage into the Elk River. So knowing Elk River, that this chemical is used to clean coal, those are both important things. And I also see that this is the 5th of 8 accidents that have occurred in this location, which is a lot. So jotting down all of that stuff is important. I also see here Toxic Substance Control Act. I don't know much about that act, but it looks like it's being criticized heavily, so we might need to look into that as we begin looking at our topic. The one thing I'm still looking for is to see if I can find a specific name for the chemical, because instead of looking just for chemical spill in West Virginia, I can look for information on the chemical itself if I decide I need to do that later. Let's see if they have it listed in this article. They do, right here. So it says that it's MCHM, and then it has the scientific name right there. So it's really important for me to know that that's the chemical that linked, and it has an abbreviation, and it also has a scientific name in case I need it. So we probably have enough terms from this article to go ahead and continue researching. What I would suggest is from the online website, you can't actually email it to yourself, but you could post this link on your Facebook, or you could save the URL somewhere. But what I would suggest is making sure that you definitely save what you find the whole time we go through this research process. That way you don't waste 2 or 3 hours locating all this great stuff and then you come back to it the next day and you can't find anything. What I would say though is as I've looked through this information, I'm starting to understand more that my topic is not just chemical spills, but what I'm really interested in addition to regulations, because these regulations seem more legal than I want to look into, but I want to know about the long-term environmental effects of this chemical spill, and basically like what are the long-term effects and maybe how chemical spills happen and how they're cleaned up. So some more information about that. I'm also interested in coal, because it seems that there's a direct link from this chemical and coal, so I don't know exactly that process of like coal and how it goes from the mine to being cleaned to being used, so that process might be important right now as well for me to look up. So the next source I want to show you is called CQ Researcher. And so what we can do is we can open a new tab and go to the library, which is library.unc.edu. And then I want to go to eResearch by discipline. What this page shows us is all the disciplines that have subject-specific databases located within them. If I didn't know the database, but I knew I was looking for information next about coal, and I know coal is used for energy, I could use that energy tab to locate databases. But since I know I want CQ Researcher, I can go over here to Title and click C. CQ Researcher is, these are all in alphabetical order, so since CQ is near the bottom, we can scroll pretty quickly until we get to CQ Researcher and click on this. In this database, the reason why I'm showing you this one is it basically functions as a background information source for you. It has several topics. If I scroll over this Browse Topics, you can see all the areas that this database covers. It's really great. It's reliable. I would think about it having very similar information that an encyclopedia would have. So think about the information you get if you went to a place like Wikipedia. But here the information is organized. You have a lot, probably a little bit more than a standard Wikipedia citation. And you also will be allowed to use the CQ Researcher as a source for your paper because it is credible. So that is why this is a good choice for you. You can go to energy and click energy there, or you could search for the keyword coal. Either way. So if you weren't sure what topic your subject falls under, you could go here. But I'm going to go to the Browse Topics. I'm going to click on energy. And right away I find something under coal. So I'll go ahead and select coal. And then I see my options from here. There's one from 2007 and one from 2006. I'm going to click the one from 2007 simply because this one is about coal mining, and I don't necessarily want to know about the process of mining, but about the coal industry itself and maybe how it goes from being in the mine to actual use, consumption, that kind of thing. So I think the coal comeback might be better. I can always come back if that's an incorrect guess. I would steer away from this one from 1992 because that's a little bit too far away. Like we talked about for the New York Times, you want to find something, if possible, in the last 5 to 7 years. That way you're sure that the information you're getting is still current and it is still accurate. So I'll click on Coal's Comeback. You can see over here that there's an issue tracker that can show if there's been an update to your article. There is a link for 2011 in mine safety, but again, I'm not necessarily interested in mine safety, so I'm not going to click that tab. So what you can see, I usually look at the full report here, which has all those sections that you see listed on your screen right there already opened up for you. What you can do, just like the New York Times page, is scroll through here. look for key terms, look for points that you don't know or that you want to know more about. Because throughout this process, you will continue narrowing your project and your topic by understanding what it is that you want to know more about, what one facet of your topic is really interesting to you. The areas that I would suggest looking in here, you can look in the overview just to get an idea about what this article is about and about the main issues of your topic. I would also suggest looking in the pro-con. The pro-con is going to tell you one specific issue that people are arguing about related to this topic, and that way you can kind of see what conversation these scientists are having and what sides are there available, because it may be that you want to be somewhere in the middle, or you want to argue with or you want to argue against one of these people, and it's a really good way to situate yourself in that scientific conversation. Something else I will show you is this chronology. You can see here that it outlines issues with coal and what has been going on. So you might read through here and see if there have been other chemical spills or other issues with pollution in relation to coal that might help you narrow your topic and develop key terms as well. The last thing I want to show you is the bibliography page. If you find this page in CQ Researcher really useful, you can go through this bibliography page and see, what studies, what reports they have, and you can look them up in Articles Plus, which is a source that I'll show you, or actually the search for Articles Plus the catalog, which is the main search menu on the library's homepage. So you can look these titles up there to locate the information if you decide that there's something that you want to look at further. If you want to use this as a source, just like I told you to post the New York Times article on your Facebook, since you can't really email it to yourself, here you can, because it's a library database. Your options are citing it, so you can do the Cite Now and get the source citation. You could view the PDF and save it right to your computer. You could email it to yourself, or you could Facebook the information to yourself. There are a lot of different options that you can use, but make sure that you save it in some way. That way, after you finish the research today, you can go back later and find it. I kind of skimmed through this and didn't pick out the key terms because for my particular topic, this was great for background information, but it wasn't directly related to what I was looking for. I use this because I think it will help a lot of you. So let's go to a new source. The next source I want to show you is Articles Plus. So we can go to the library homepage. And this was that search box I was showing, so if you did find something from the bibliography, you could copy and paste the title here and press search, and it will help you find it. But I want to go directly into Articles Plus. So I'll click on the Articles Plus tab, and from here I want to search for more information about chemical spills. Because that's really, when I was narrowing my topic after the New York Times article, that's what I wanted to know more about. Chemical spills, how they affect the environment, how they happen, how long it takes to clean up. That's what I'm thinking right now. So from doing this search, I have 200,000 results. That's way too many to go through here and pick which one of these sources might be the best one. So what I want to do first is click More under Content Type, and I'm going to narrow it to Reference. Like we talked about in CQ Researcher, reference is like encyclopedia sources, the sources that give me the facts, the background information on a topic. They're usually very broad, but they do help for generating key terms and understanding the major issues going on. So there are still 902 options here, which normally I would suggest narrowing it more, but it looks like a lot of these go to oil spills. But the first three are on chemical spills, and this one says environment and society. And the one below it says accidents and spills. And one is from the Encyclopedia of Geography. This one is from Pollution A to Z. Both of those actually seem like they would give me really great background information on what I'm talking about. So you have a couple of options. You could save these just by clicking this little folder and keep searching, or you could go right to the article itself. To view the article itself, you can click the title, and here it opens up automatically. Just like New York Times and just like in CQ Researcher, I would go through and look for key terms, things that you think are important. Right away it says chemicals can be corrosive, toxic, and they may react. So knowing that those are the possibilities is good. So you might jot those key terms down. As we keep looking through this, we see the EPA mentioned again. We see this Clean Air Act. So we might jot down Clean Air Act. That might be something that we need to know about. here's a discussion about how hazardous spills occur. So maybe reading that area could be helpful. I could help generate key terms. Here's a hazard in classes, so I can see how hazardous chemicals are. Here's the term carcinogens, that may result in cancer. So this is really interesting because as I'm seeing, it affects the environment. It also affects the people that live here, right? So these chemical spills can be very toxic. So we might jot down the word carcinogens. That way, if I decide that I want to not focus so much on the environment, but how this spill in the environment affects people, that could be a way I narrow my topic. So I might jot that down. Here's really cool. This is explains how chemical spills are handled. So this way I kind of understand the whole process. What it means for a chemical spill to happen, how it happens, and how they're handled. Really helps to answer some of those initial questions I had related to my topic of chemical spills. If I was in here, what you can see how we saved those two options. If I had saved them and kept searching, here's how you retrieve them. You click that link down there, and you see both of these. Unfortunately, CSE isn't here, but you can pick a citation, another citation format, and then you can convert it later, and you can email these citations to yourself. Okay, so from Articles Plus, there's another option that you can use after you've gathered this background information. So you have the information New York Times, and now we've gathered some background information. You could go through and uncheck reference and check journal article and use these terms here to narrow your search more to find journal articles related on your topic, but I want to show you another place. So the last source I'm going to show you is also from the library's homepage, which I'll open in a new window. Remember, library.unc.edu. And I'm going to go to e-research by discipline. And this time I'll show you what these subject headings look like. I'm really interested in the environment, right? That's what I said about chemical spills, how they affect the environment, how long they last. So I'm going to go to this environmental studies link. And from here, I'm going to show you Environment Complete. If you didn't know what database you wanted, you could look at this little info section and it will tell you what kind of subjects are covered in that. So you can just go through and keep clicking info until you find a database that works for you if Environment Complete doesn't. So I'll click on Environment Complete, and I'm going to do a search here. And for my search, I'm going to look for Toxic Substance Control Act. This was an act that was mentioned in that Times article, so I'm going to search for that, and I have 348 results. When you're in a database like this, in the Articles Plus one, I was looking for background information. I was looking for reference, which means I was looking for broad information on a topic. Here, I want a journal article, which is more specific. I want an article related to this act, and I want to know specifically about how it relates to chemicals. So 348 results is a lot to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and add the term chemical and see if that helps my search at all. So it cuts it down by 100. 220 is still a lot. So what I might do is move this forward to 2007, because remember we said we want something between like around 5 to 7 years old. Now normally I could keep adding terms here to make it more narrow and related to what I want, or I could just look through quickly and see what I have. What's really interesting is that first few results haven't changed much, so that means that they might be directly related to what I'm doing. I really like this one. I noticed the first one and the third one both have the Toxic Substances Control Act in them, but this one's related to chemical prioritization. Well, I want something about chemicals, so this might be really great. To know more information about this article, you can scroll over that little link, and what you can see from here is it shows you the abstract. The other thing you could do is click on the title to see the abstract. The abstract is basically a summary of the article to let you know if it's what you want or not. So if you read that and it sounded interesting and related to your topic, you could go ahead and save it. You could save the PDF, you can print it, you can email it, just save this citation or this citation itself. So you have a couple of different options. Again, make sure you save as you go. Because you don't want to get to a place where you've done all this research, like I said, and you get home and you don't have the information that you need. So from here, what I will say is I'll give you a little bit of a review. From the library's homepage, I showed you the hours in case you needed to come in and ask questions. On New York Times, I showed you where you could go if you already had a topic to find current information about it and start generating those key terms. From CQ Researcher, I showed you how to find background information on a topic that's related to yours, like coal. On chemical spills, I showed you, or on Articles Plus, I showed you how to find articles related to chemical spills. And in this sense, I actually showed you reference articles. And then we went to an actual database to find a specific journal article related to our topic. So as you can see, our topic kind of narrowed from the beginning. When I started, I just knew that I wanted to talk about chemical spills. And then from the New York Times article, I knew that it was specifically chemical spills and the environment. And then when I went a little bit further into this Toxic Substance Control Act, I'm realizing that I want to research the environment and how chemical spills, how long they last, how long they take, and what kind of information we have to prevent this kind of damage. So I can argue that if we have maybe more laws like this one, it could prevent long-term damage to the environment. Of course, I'm just in the beginning of my search process, so I might need to use these same sources like Articles Plus, the New York Times, or this database to find a little bit more information. But you should be able to find, like this source right here would be that one study, the research study that you would need. And then the Articles Plus reference source might serve as a supporting source. This could serve as a supporting source, or even the New York Times article. So you've got plenty of choices from here, and then remember, of course, the subject-specific disciplines that you could use from the library's homepage. Remember, right here where it said e-research by discipline, you could use that as well if you didn't find what you needed. But if you have questions, feel free to email me or come into the undergraduate library. Otherwise, I will see you in class on Tuesday.